Hello, my name is Susan Graham, and my business is called Senior Edge Legal. I'm here to talk to you today about what it's going to cost you in money terms if you care for your elderly parents or other people you care about. Most of us don't want our parents to go into a nursing home or assisted living or any place like that. And most of our parents or elderly people want to stay in their homes for the rest of their lives. So, how do you actually make that happen? What kind of plan do you have in place to make that happen? Well, many families decide that yes, that child or one or more children are going to be the full-time or part-time caregivers for their parents. What does that really come down to in our country? They say now about 50 million families are caring for the elderly. That's 1 out of 5 Americans provide care for the seniors in their lives that they're concerned about. And this costs them, on average, about somebody's figured this all out, about $7,000 a year out of pocket for the caregiver. So, what are some other plans? Certainly, you can be a caregiver for those you care about, but let's talk about how does that actually happen. You could purchase, or they could have purchased long-term care insurance. But at this point, most people have not done that. And once they pass age 80, nobody's going to write a plan for them. And even then, if they try to buy it in their 70s, sometimes the premium costs are just too high for people. There's another way to pay for that. Of course, the children can dip into their pocket and pay it themselves. But there are some tax laws that really make it possible to get some help indirectly from the federal government. What I'm talking about is, let's say it costs $100,000 out of pocket to pay for mom and dad's long-term care. That means it's coming out of somebody's pocket to pay for caregivers into the home or, people that we're hiring, not just the family members who are volunteering their time, or the parents being in memory care or assisted living or, heaven forbid, gone term, long-term nursing care. So let's just say it's taking, we take their wages or not wages, pensions and Social Security and pay for that. But over and above that, there's still $100,000 a year that has to be paid for their care. If a child pays $100,000 out of that child's individual pocket, which is more than 50% of the medical expenses, the care costs for that parent. And then there's a tax deduction that the child can take against that 100,000, and in fact end up having $20,000 back to the child. The deduction, once you do all these fancy mechanical and calculated numbers, it ends up there being a approximate $20,000 deduction against the child's payment of 100,000. So that's, quite a bit of money. That means the child doesn't have to pay an extra $20,000 in taxes. So this extra $20,000 in the child's pocket. Now that's kind of cool. But what child normally has 100,000 they can pay out of their own pocket? Well, it's possible to handle this two different ways. One is the children collectively. Their 4 children can pool their money and pay for mom and dad's long-term care. And the tax laws allow just one child to take that deduction, so that one child gets the $20,000, and then they can split that with their siblings or keep it themselves or put it back in a pot to pay for mom and dad's care. Another version is mom and dad can set aside, I'm going to say 500,000 from their CDs and their brokerage account and give that to the children. And this all gets kind of technical and it's something you really need a lawyer to be involved with. But then if they use that 500,000 and they take 100,000 out of it one particular year to pay those extra costs, the medical costs, then again, that one child will get the $20,000 deduction and they can take that. These are real $20,000 in cash. They can share that among the siblings, or that one child keeps it, or they put it back in another pot for paying mom and dad's care. It's a family cooperation. It takes a family to decide if they want to do this kind of thing. But it's a strategy that multiple family members can use, or even just one child with mom and dad can do this. There are at least 3 formal documents that you need for people to sign in order to accomplish this goal, but this is substantial. We're talking long-term residential care, paying for caregivers in mom and dad's home, or if they need to be in a facility such as memory care or assisted living, or again, long-term nursing care. Long-term nursing care now costs about $10,000 a month and more. I have one client who's paying over $300,000 a year for long-term care in a nursing home. So these are unfortunately devastating expenses. This strategy is underused, and the reason is because people just don't know about it. The IRS actually has in the regulations specific example to show how families can use this to, in fact, take advantage of that medical expense deduction. So I just want to share with you that if you are a caregiver or anticipating being a caregiver for your parents, or your parents are anticipating that need, there are strategies that you can take that will provide significant dollars. I'm talking tens of thousands of dollars in the family, so that will help pay for that long-term care. Thank you for listening to this presentation. If you'd like our help, please call our office at 208-344-0375. Thank you.